One of the most powerful things that happens on your way back towards oneness or joining back with God is you get half-truths. You get things that sound right and that are right, but the mind may reinterpret it and send you off in a whole nother universe. One of those sayings, one of those truths is, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. It sounds so right, it's so collectively programmed or put out there into the collective. We watch FDR say it, during the Second World War, which, by the way, if you want to research and find out what FDR really knew about Pearl Harbor, check that out. Just Google that. Often it is a much bigger play behind the scenes going on. But so this saying, we have nothing to fear but fear itself, becomes some assumed that's just the way it is. And no one looks deeper, feels deeper. What's the truth about that? And then we get things like, you must choose either fear or love. You must choose one or the other. And we're in that game of either or. The either or game makes you divided and conquered. Either or. One of my favorite teachers said, it's never either or, it's always both and more. In the universe, as it creates this plethora, myriads of star systems and life and trillions of expressions of the life force, how can it be either or? Of course it's yes and more. Yes, Pleiadians, yes, earth beings, yes, greenery, yes, bacteria, yes, everything. The universe says yes, yes, yes. It is this unbelievable effulgent explosion of effervescing exploration of where can consciousness come up next, right? So we have nothing to fear but fear itself then you are placing something outside of the oneness. I am that I am. Oneness, God, Advaita, oneness, oneness. Everything is an expression of the life force, right? Biblical things, it's once we divided things into good and evil, that's when the whole collapse and the disconnect, the unplug, the fall from oneness happened. Masters often confuse people because they do things that seem very, very strange, because they don't have this separation inside themselves of this is good, this is bad. Therefore, God works in mysterious ways. So we have nothing to fear but fear itself. This is a big, big untruth. A bigger truth, Lao Tzu, thank you very much, the truth that can be spoken is not the truth. So all this is an exercise in understanding. Understanding is standing under the full connection. Standing under the full connection. Understanding is the booby prize. Heart feeling, solar plexus awakening and opening are the keys. Of course, of course. And those are the things we work with at the Course of Awakening. Real awakening, understanding is the first step. Something's wrong. Next step is doing action. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. No. There's nothing to fear, including fear itself. There's nothing to fear, including fear itself. When you accept your fear, every master, every person who wakes up, every god, goddess, human saint that has woken up, has made that journey through their hell. Jesus does it, the shamans do it, shamanic journey. Come on our ayahuasca journeys, you'll encounter some of your own personal hells, for sure. And heavens, of course. Anytime you expand your consciousness, you expand, quote, on the good and the bad side. The good and evil is merging. There's nothing to fear, including fear itself. That's God. The division into good and evil is there's nothing to fear except fear itself. That means you're placing something outside of the oneness. Fear doesn't belong in me. No fear bumper stickers on trucks everywhere you see. And what happens? That which we resist persists. So if you resist fear, you're going to create fear. What do we create? A war on fear. Terror is another word for fear. Terror is another word for fear. So we've created this perpetual war on fear because we're not including fear as a God-created, source-created, conscious, universal intelligence-created mechanism. Fear has its place at the round table of emotions, happiness, sadness, ennui, all the different emotions. Of course, fear is a huge teacher. He's a huge guidepost, servant, friend. Make friends with your fear is where the true liberation is. This is a secret, sacred teaching that is hidden. But it's time for it all to come out now. Unless you think I'm just some guy talking here on YouTube, this is one of the biggest teachings you'll ever come across. 30 years, 3,000 lifetimes. And you've all done it. We've all done it if you're listening to this. It's time to wake up from this one. You do not choose between fear and love. You accept both as part of the human experience. And you fully go into it. You embrace it and erase it. If you resist it, you persist it. You know? So the new saying around fear is not the only thing to fear is fear itself, but there's nothing to fear, including fear itself. Embrace your fear. When you face something that feared you before, don't you feel incredibly expanded and powerful and a bigger piece of God? So these half-truths, there's more on this later. These half-truths. Towards the end of our awakening, these half-truths become places in a way where Spirit seduces us back into the illusion game, if we buy it. You will go, well, that's true, I need to go fight fear. Another round of 5,000 incarnations, right? Which is what's happening on Earth. If you want more of these tidbits, Listening to the Sun, this is my old beaten copy. You will get a brand new copy. On Amazon, these are my personal awakening experiences, 43 of them. Little blips, and the feedback I get from people is it truly does trigger something in you and reawakens a part of your soul where you go, aha, aha. The word ha is the breath of God. Aloha. I present the ha, the breath of God, to you. You know? All right, Listening to the Sun on Amazon, or just go to the website for that as well. So, nothing to fear, including fear itself. Allow your fear to be your servant, your guidepost, your Godpost too, and your friend. These half-truths, it's a big time now on Earth for all these things to come to light. More later.